24 male, girlfriend, 24 female, and my brother, 26 male, got into a fist fight over a political argument, and now my family is demanding I break up with her. I introduced my girlfriend to my parents, siblings, and extended family on a family get-together a few days ago. This was the first time I had seen them since the start of the pandemic, and it started really well with everyone getting along and having fun. That would change as more alcohol was consumed. My girlfriend and brother got into a heated political argument that suddenly escalated to violence, resulting in substantial injuries for both of them. Accounts of who throws the first punch differ, and I frankly don't care, as they both actively contributed to the fight and antagonized each other. The fight was eventually broken up when my girlfriend had a clear advantage. My mom screamed at my girlfriend to leave, so we left. I love both my girlfriend and my brother, and I don't blame either one of them for the fight more than I blame the other. My girlfriend also doesn't seem to hold any grudges and is embarrassed by her behavior during the incident. My brother and parents, on the other hand, place 100% of the blame on my girlfriend and demand that I break up with her or they will cut all ties with me. I will not do that, but I want to maintain my relationship with my family and somehow get them to accept my girlfriend, and that she should not bear all blame for this incident. My brother is also demanding that my girlfriend pay for his alleged medical expenses and is threatening to report her to the police if she refuses. My experience of growing up in this town makes me think sexism in the local police department makes it unlikely that anything would come of that report, as they would almost certainly refuse to consider the possibility that a woman can assault a man. I have offered to pay off my brother, but my girlfriend refuses to let me do that and says that she will pay him if he can prove that the medical expenses are real. My girlfriend still has visible injuries, but did not visit the hospital. I suggested that she go to get her injuries documented, but she doesn't want to do that. I just wish everyone could forget about this and move forward, but writing this makes me think my family is acing unreasonably, and perhaps I should just cut contact with them, as they are threatening to do with me. Perhaps growing up with these people makes me blind to how ridiculous their behavior is. I don't know what I should do. Update: my 24 male girlfriend, 24 female, and my brother, 26 male, got into a fist fight over a political argument, and now my family is demanding I break up with her. I showed it to my girlfriend and she agreed that it was vague and thought I left out important details. I will let her provide those details at the end. You all convince me that it may matter who throws the first punch. Before making the original post, I had heard two mutually exclusive versions of events. One told by my girlfriend, and one told by my parents and my brother. It's honestly very hard for me to believe that any of them would lie about something like this. I have since reached out to everyone else who may have seen how it started and received two relevant replies. One from my aunt, who confirmed my parents' and brother's version, and one from my youngest sister, 18 female, who described a scenario similar to what my girlfriend had told me. Everyone who sided with my brother has obviously had the opportunity to talk with him and each other, and intentionally or unintentionally influence each other's story. It's very unlikely that my girlfriend and sister have done that, as they don't know each other, and my sister would have no reason to lie for my girlfriend. I don't think there is a reasonable explanation for them telling the same story other than that it's the truth. I'm therefore almost certain that my brother hit my girlfriend first. My parents have recanted the threat to cut ties with me for not breaking up with my girlfriend, but they are still saying that she is not welcome back to their home and will never be part of our family. I'm honestly done with them at this point. She has done everything and more, including being willing to pay for his medical expenses, and my brother refused to even hear her apology, much less make his own or take any responsibility at all. At this point, I'm 100% behind my girlfriend, just as my parents are 100% behind my brother. Many people commenting on the original post asked if my brother is racist, or assumed that he is, after I revealed what the argument was about. I'm honestly not sure how to answer that. My brother sometimes repeats racist talking points from TV and social media, especially against Hispanic people, but last year he was strongly against the deportation of a neighboring family who had immigrated from Mexico. He even probably facetiously, suggested that their deportation was a conspiracy to undermine Trump's immigration policy by deporting good people instead of violent criminals. I have never heard my brother use a racial slur or seen him treat anyone differently because of their race. I guess the answer depends on how you define racism. My girlfriend's comment. This is what I think happened, based on what I remember, assume, and was told afterward. It's probably not entirely correct. We were all sitting around a big outdoor table. I was sitting between my boyfriend and his brother. We talked about non-political things like places we had been or wanted to travel to, but then someone mentioned the protests and my boyfriend's brother immediately responded by calling the protesters terrorists. I asked what made them terrorists and if the cops were also terrorists by that definition. I don't remember how he responded, but the argument continued from there. We were drinking more alcohol as we continued to argue, almost as if we were in an unspoken drinking contest. At some point, we both stood up and continued to argue loudly while getting in each other's faces. My boyfriend tried to separate us by pulling us away from each other and by attempting to stand between us, but we ignored him and continued. My boyfriend doesn't like conflict or people screaming, and he was probably very frustrated at that time, so he left and went into the house. We were both angry and I wanted to punch him, but I still had enough self-control to restrain myself. I fully believe in freedom of speech, and I know that violence is never an acceptable response to someone expressing an opinion. Then he punched me with a closed fist in the face. I don't remember feeling afraid or like I was defending myself when I hit back. What I felt was a strange mix of hatred and excitement. We traded a few punches and then one of mine caused him to fall to the ground. I imminently kicked him in the chest and was then pulled away from him by his dad. That kick is what I regret the most. It was excessive, dangerous, and completely unnecessary. I kicked someone laying defenselessly on the ground and I didn't feel anything for him until several hours later. I'm terrified of the person I was then, but that person is still me. I did that, but I can't understand why. I was not afraid, and I remember doing it deliberately. I keep thinking about what would have happened if no one was around to stop me after that kick. Would I have kicked him again? How many times? I can't answer those questions, and that's the most terrifying thing. My boyfriend wrote that we both had substantial injuries. I don't think that's true. I had a black eye and some bruises. My boyfriend's brother had a broken rib and a concussion. My injuries were not substantial compared to his, which is why I don't think it's unfair for me to pay for his medical bills. I would have done that even without the threat of reporting me to the police. Some comments on the post indicated that my boyfriend's brother should either be more to blame or should feel ashamed of losing because of his gender. I disagree. Gender should not have anything to do with this. It's possible that he feels differently and is ashamed of losing to a woman, but I don't think he should feel that way even within that value system, as it was essentially random. He could just as well have knocked me to the ground with his first punch. I don't think strength or skills played any significant role. I, 20 male, want to get help for my mental health, but my girlfriend, 18 female, doesn't want me to because she can fix me. So, this is going to be a bit of a disturbing story for some people, so trigger warning for suicidal thoughts, self-harm, depression, and mental health problems. I'm going to start with how our relationship started. It was in high school. I was 17, a junior, she was 15, a freshman, and we were in a band together. I was always a quiet kid. I didn't sit with anybody at lunch or talk to people outside of my few friends, who I unfortunately no longer have to rely on. One day when we were sitting together in the same section, we started talking about the playing cards people had thrown into the ceiling. It was this conversation that caused me to fall irreversibly in love with her. We started dating in the spring of that year, and I loved her. I still do. It's to the point that I've started looking into proposing to her. We are with each other almost every day, and it's fantastic. I love her so much, and I don't think I could live without her at this point. Guess I'm addicted. Anyways, my mental health has never been that great for a few reasons. I've never really had anyone to confide in, and I hate to drone on about my situation, but it's relevant. Trigger warning ahead. Some months before we met, I wrote a suicide note, something I'm not proud of, to my parents and friends. My parents found it one day, got on to me about it, and went through all my stuff. I've already made a post about it here, and confirmed it to be a complete invasion of my privacy, but I love them. They helped me so much, and I can never thank them enough for not throwing me in a hospital, so I have forgiven them for it. Anyways, when my parents first found the note and we went through the whole process of therapy and that sort of thing, I lied to them because of what I thought the consequences would be, something I regret very much now. I told them that a few of my online friends had killed themselves and that I had been depressed for a long time. I was hearing voices and still do. One of them, whom I named Jerry, told me to kill myself, to cut myself, and a whole lot of really awful things. I had visual hallucinations too, ranging from floating lights and undefined forms to terrifying monsters I saw at night. I've dealt with it all for a long time, 3 years now, and I'm done. My situation didn't help either. At the proposal of my therapist, my parents got me a vitamin supplement, which I didn't take because I was utterly convinced they were SSRIs, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. The only person I told about all this was my girlfriend. She was understanding and helpful, and for a time it seemed like they did go away, but they came back in full force not long after. I didn't tell my girlfriend about this until recently, to which she rightfully blew up at me. I had kept it from her when I promised to tell her everything that was wrong, so it's my fault. Our relationship isn't really at stake, she just more wants to help me, like I helped her through her depression in high school. The thing is, she still doesn't want me to go see a psychiatrist and figure out what's wrong. I've dealt with it long enough to know I want it over and done my research on it. I don't want to self-diagnose, but I think it's a psychosis of some kind. Don't quote me on that though, I'm not qualified for that sort of thing. She's still saying she can help me and that the medicine is going to make me different, which I can never confirm or deny. She's also suddenly started saying that she understands because the same thing has happened to her, but she got over it, which is a little weird, but not immediately a red flag. I've kept some things private from her. It's only natural that she did the same. Anyways, what should I do about convincing her I need to see a professional? Again, I don't want to ruin my relationship. This girl is my world. Update: I, 20 male, want to get help for my mental health, but my girlfriend, 18 female, doesn't want me to because she can fix me. This will be a little short, since nothing has happened, but I talked to my parents like some of you said in the comments, and I went to an appointment today. When I told my girlfriend, she was upset that I hadn't asked her or told her, and a little upset about seeking other help. At one point she asked me if I didn't trust her to help me. I did what I thought was best. I sat her down and told her how bad it was, what the voices told me to do, how it was constant. I hated it, but in the end, she apologized, saying I had no idea, and agreed that psychiatry was the best option, so that I could get better. Thank you all for the helpful advice, and I hope I never have to see you again. Have a brilliant day. Update 2. Just got a call from my psychiatrist. He's starting me on a trial run of trilofan and Zoloft. I'll update soon if something happens. Thank you and have an amazing day. My 23 female boyfriend, 22 mad, got mad at me when I told him I left my ex because he was a porn addict. We've been together for 2 years. We were talking about past relationships, and I told him I left my ex because he was a porn addict that would spend all day watching porn. He said I was a butthole for doing that. My boyfriend said maybe my ex knew it, but he was too ashamed to open up, and the breakup probably made the shame worse. He was very mad at me when I asked him why he was getting so mad at it. He avoided the question. He didn't want to talk about it again. Why did he react like that? My ex-boyfriend would constantly watch porn instead of spending time with me, and he didn't have the intention to change. Update: my 23 female boyfriend, 22 mad, got mad at me when I told him I left my ex because he was a porn addict. I want to apologize for some things that I should have said in my previous post. 1. He doesn't like porn, and he thinks the industry is evil. 2. I never specified to him that my ex didn't have any intention of changing at all. I thought it was obvious that was the reason. I was planning on talking about it with him, bringing on things people said to me in the post. However, he was the one to start the talk. He first apologized for calling me a butthole, and that he didn't fully know the situation like to call me that. He told me that his emotions got a hold of him because he suffered from porn addiction in the past. He told me his story and how he was deeply ashamed of his addiction, and that if someone would have left them because of the addiction, which he finds is comprehensible but painful, he would have probably just given up. After he was done, I told him he could be open about it. However, I clarified that my ex didn't have the intention of changing. He said he already guessed it. He apologized again for calling me a butthole. He also told me that he also does understand leaving someone with addiction, even if the addicted wants to change, but his self-projection didn't let him think straight at the moment. I told him about the post, and we read the comments together for a little while. He said he wanted to write his story, so here it is. Hi, I'm OP's boyfriend. I wanted to tell my story, even if it isn't necessary. I discovered porn when I was 11 or 12. With time I started to watch more and more, and I started to use it to escape from my problems. It slowly drove me away from my friends. It was like I was there but not totally. It got to a point where I would watch porn each day every few hours. I also masturbated every time I watched, which hurt me physically, since masturbating that much is not healthy, especially at the age I was. It messed me up in several ways. My whole view of lovemaking was messed up. I didn't realize I had a problem until I was 17, and I stumbled into r/nofap. I don't even remember how I discovered it, other than I discovered a week after starting to use Reddit, and I saw stories about people that ruined their lives because of porn. That was when I realized how porn had affected me. It was a hard time, but I could make it thanks to my two best friends, who were the only people whom I felt I could open up. They also inspired me to start working out, and they helped me a lot. I also met some people online who had the same struggles as me, and that helped me a lot. Now here I am. I haven't watched porn, in the sense in seeking pleasure, in a long time. Even if I did, thinking of porn brings back bad memories. My experience has made me resent porn, and it might not be exactly evil, but I still dislike the industry as a whole. I still remember the last day I watched porn. It was on the 1st of October of 2016. When OP talked me about her ex, it brought back lots of memories. I reacted badly. I know I shouldn't have called OP a butthole. I also know some people called me lots of things. I want to thank those people. It made further realize my response was bad. It's refreshing to write this without shame, and knowing my partner is not judging me. I don't know exactly why I'm writing this other than to get this out of my chest. Thanks for reading. I feel relieved that he apologized to me, and he was the one to start it. Some people said that he just didn't respect me, or that he thought I should have just accepted it. I'm relieved that's not the case, and I never thought it was. He's not that kind of person. I think we are doing fine. Thanks for reading all the way through. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, hit like, get subscribed, and give the OP any advice you have in the comment section, and support the original writers with upvotes. Links in the description box.